328 round the clock. ZBC TV, your voice, your choice.
Enjoy real value online with TM Pick and Pay Click and Collect. It's time for the news.
Live from our Pocket Soul studios right here in Highlands, Harare. My name is Zain Jamo and welcome to the main news. And of course, it's a lovely evening to you, Joyce.
Oh, good evening to you, Zain, and welcome to our viewers. My name is Joyce Mabika. Susan Masona is on sign language.
And of course, later on, Marilyn Gwena will be joining us from our Montrose studios. But we kick off this bulletin with these leading stories.
Government satisfied with smooth commencement of the 2025 academic calendar as schools open this Tuesday.
Treasury maintains an economic growth forecast of 6% this year.
Zimbabwe eyes cooking oil self-sufficiency.
And in sport, Yada Football Club owner Walter Magaya and Temba Mliswa approach the courts over their disqualification from the ZIFA presidency.
Let's now take a look at the news in detail. It was the first day of the 2025 school calendar this Tuesday, with learners and teachers excited about the prospects that lie ahead.
The first day of school is a pivotal moment filled with anticipation, excitement, and for beginners a touch of anxiety. Then there are ECD learners who are taking the first step into a whole new world of formal education. Fear of the unknown grips young Taku, who is clearly not amused to be left with strangers.
I don't want to come to school.
One could have thought joining his peers would be an incentive, but not for Taku. There is also Tavonga, who is going for grade 1 at a new school, which also comes with trying to make new friends.
But I'm not getting friends.
You're not getting friends?
Yes.
So you don't want to come to school?
Yes.
It is, however, his lucky day as his classmates welcome him with open arms and a touch of grace. Despite the enthusiastic singing and dancing around him, Aiden is not used to a life without his mother. That is certainly not an issue for grade 7s who are excited to be in their last lap at primary school.
As a students, we're supposed to study. Even during times when we're not at school, we're supposed to study so that we can go to prestigious schools.
Despite being involved in a minor mishap days before schools opened, Mutsa, an upper 6th student, is more than prepared for the challenges that lie ahead.
I have exams in November. If I decide to be sulking in bed all day, all night, all my leg, using it as an excuse not to go to school, it's my life down the drain.
A new journey has also begun for Form 1s.
We've got more subjects and it's a bit much more strict than primary, and at high school you expect so much more.
Ndikuita kanenge kakutya, but ndirikufarawo futi kuti ndiri panapa because ndikuda ma-results akanaka.
School authorities are equally prepared for the new chapter, which comes with a heritage-based curriculum.
We've upped our gear so that we can tackle the heritage-based curriculum, whereby we're going to teach our learners how to incorporate the indigenous knowledge systems whenever we are teaching our subjects. Be it science, we are now using this matamba to prepare some of the chemicals that we are going to use.
Training takaita, but tichiuda unyazokolonzerwa, but ziri kufamba.
As the new academic session begins, one can only hope that every child finds their feet and appreciate the value of education. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Harare.
It was also a hive of activity in other provinces as schools opened for the first term, with new learners starting a new journey. While it was back to serious business for others, we get more from our news crews.
For these little ones in Bulawayo, this was a momentous occasion. The first day at school, tiny hands gripped crayons, tentatively tracing letters on worksheets. The teacher, gently present amid the flurry of activity, patiently guided the young minds, encouraging exploration and fostering a sense of belonging. A chat with some of the first-timers revealed how the first day was like for many.
It was my first day at school, and it was fun when I came.
I was playing in the class and playing with my friend and just a friend.
Outside, parents waited patiently as the first day of school is a bittersweet milestone.
Very sad. We didn't want her to go. We like her to be home.
Excitement yakhona ukuyamthatha. Kodwa bekulokuthi dijimbi.
For older students, the opening of schools meant a return to routine and a chance to reconnect with friendships.
I was missing my friends, my teacher.
The school head at Coglan Primary, Mrs. Sichapuli Sonyati, expressed delight at welcoming back students and acknowledged the unique pressures of the first day.
We met the crying ones, we met those that are ready for school, and we started off well, and we are working on our HBC, which is heritage-based curriculum.
For some, it was a chance to make money, capitalizing on the first day experiences. As the afternoon wore on, the initial shyness began to fade as laughter erupted, and the rain did not deter them from enjoying their first day at school.
It is exactly 7 o'clock in the morning at Mawani Primary School in Gwanda, Matabeleland South Province, and the trio of Kilebu Hile and Naledi Ncube, as well as Dumolenko Masugu, walk the Mawani Primary School pavement for the first time. Strange, intimidating and orderly, this will be their home for the next 9 years. Maybe true to the saying, children are born like blank slates and their later behavior is shaped by experience, the trio needs to catch up faster if they are to find the going smooth. As they are ushered to the assembly, they can hardly follow the proceedings as everything looks different. It is not their usual playground. This is a school where they will do their ECDA. In all the chaos and confusion that still clouds their heads, there is a patient teacher who waits to take them through the process and lay the proverbial first brick. Parents are well aware of the daunting task and appreciate teaching may be one of the underappreciated professions.
Like uku-attenda umntwana ongakazi ukuhamba, ongakazi ukukhona ukuzenzela, ukubala, ukubhala. So ezinike isikhathi sokuthi amfundise zakwanisa ukubhala ibizo ukuthi kube kulomsebenzi omkhulu.
Uthisha kulomsebenzi kakhulu. Noma umntwana ufike lapha ekhala esesaba vele ukudlala labanye kodwa kathesi sekwanisa ukudlala labanye sekwanisa ukundlabelela.
Abantwana bethu babuya lapha bengabantwana, sometimes omunye usuke ekhaya vele engafuna ukubuya esikole obuye ngumuntu okhalayo, then angafika lapha ajwayelane labanye abantwana lababalisi bamncedise egcine se-right.
While many a times the school's opening days are for cleaning and making the school environment conducive for learning, at Mawane there was no time to waste.
Heritage-based curriculum. Kunokuthwana nokutshintshileyo bantwana lezo. Angithi ngiyazibhala ama-exams besibhala ama-learning areas awu-6. Khona basebenza sekubhanjiwe kwaba ngama-subject 1. So akuna nto ekintshileyo kubhanjiwe wabhanjwa i-English lokhu injalo.
Rural schools opened smoothly across the entire province with an average of 95% attendance recorded.
Meanwhile, government has expressed satisfaction with the smooth commencement of the 2025 academic calendar. The Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Honorable Torirai Moyo, spoke to ZBC News after an assessment tour in Harare this Tuesday.
We have started off very well, hitting the ground running. Like you said, it is part of our culture, it's part of our practice that at the beginning of every term, we tour schools to assess the level of preparedness of our schools, to assess whether our headmasters, school authorities are ready to open the school on a high note. and we have visited 3 schools, Shingai in St. Mary's Tungwiza, Borodale Primary School, and also Churchill. Our observations are that all our schools are 100% ready for opening of schools. We have noticed that all of them have their schemes of work. Lessons started in earnest at exactly 7:30, and we have seen a lot of progress. And our teachers have also done scheming, lesson planning, particularly on the new curriculum, the heritage-based curriculum. We are so impressed with the level of scheming, and they also infuse the new approaches to teaching, the new pedagogies and andragogies, and that shows that our teachers are very hardworking.
The Minister of Defense, Honorable Opam Chinguri Kashiri, will represent President Emerson Mnangagwa at the inauguration of Mozambique President-elect Comrade Daniel Chapo this Wednesday. Honorable Muchinguri Kashiri will join several heads of state and government from across the globe invited to witness the event. Zimbabwe and Mozambique enjoy cordial relations dating back to the days of the liberation struggle. Comrade Chapo will be Mozambique's 5th president since the country attained independence in 1975. Meanwhile, Mozambique has declared Wednesday a national holiday as the new president takes office after elections held on the 9th of October last year. In a statement, the Mozambican Ministry of Labour announced the holiday extends to the public and private sectors. At least 2,500 people are expected to attend the inauguration ceremony.
Chief Justice Luke Malava has noted the need for a collective effort in eradicating corruption, saying it is undermining the rule of law and national development.
The prestigious legal year dinner held in Bulawayo this Monday was an opportunity for Chief Justice Luke Malava to deliver a stern message on the need to deal decisively with corruption, urging public officers to prioritize serving the people and upholding the highest ethical standards.
The dilemma of today is that offices are occupied by wrong people. That is the dilemma of today. Wrong people are occupying public offices. That is why we have corruption. Because those people have not redefined to the level required by public office. They have remained themselves, looking at relatives, looking at where they come from, which tribe they belong to, who has the name similar to them. That is the level of individualism. That is the level of self-interest. That is the level of selfishness. And that is a recipe for corruption. So how do we resolve it? How do you disentangle? How do you correct this? You occupy public office to serve the people and transform the mind and understand and think and create things and see the vision presented by the law.
The chairperson of the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, Mr. Michael Reza, echoed the same sentiment, calling for stiffer penalties.
As that we believe there ought to be something along those lines where corruption, there's something like a mandatory sentence once a person is convicted of corruption. We are grateful that the powers that be are moving for the implementation of the Whistleblower Protection Act. It is at a very advanced stage.
The legal year dinner was attended by dignitaries from across the legal and political spectrum, providing a platform for reflection on the milestones achieved and paving way for a renewed commitment to building public confidence through multi-stakeholder participation. Giland Moy, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Treasury is maintaining the 6% economic growth forecast, pending an overall review by the end of the first quarter. Let's get more.
Responding to inquiries over the 2025 state of the economy in light of global shocks and late rains, the Minister of Finance, Investment Promotion and Economic Development, Professor Mtulingwe, reviewed confidence over economic growth prospects.
When we expect the economy to recover this year in 2025, and we'll project it to grow at 6%, up from the 2% of last year. Yes, we've had a late arrival of rains. We'll be obviously waiting to see the full impact of this on agricultural output, which is critical to our recovery strategy and our projections. So we'll be able to assess, I would say, 4 months from now as to what that output looks like, and then be able to say whether we maintain the 6% rate of growth or not. But for now, we maintain it because the rains have been very good of late, and that should give us a good harvest here and there.
Asked on whether the 2025 national budget will not lose value subject to local currency volatility, the Treasury boss gave an insight on measures to guard against losses in value.
We always anticipate shocks in the budgetary process. When we designed this budget, we already put that into account. There is a section, if you go into the budget statement document, a section that deals with what you call shocks pertaining to commodity prices, for example, shocks pertaining to climate, shocks pertaining to some macroeconomic instability and currency value erosion. We've put in those kind of measures in the budget already, and we know how to respond should any of those shocks occur.
Treasury is expecting recovery and growth this year, driven by strategic sectors of the economy. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
A government has reiterated its commitment to addressing the Lake Chivero crisis that has affected wildlife and humans.
Zimbabwe, which has over the years consolidated its status as a global leader in biodiversity conservation, is taking steps to address the ecological disaster which resulted in the death of several species at Lake Chivero due to cyanobacteria contamination. Speaking on the sidelines of a takeover ceremony in Harare this Tuesday, outgoing Director General of the Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Management Authority, Dr. Fulton Mangwanya, revealed that relevant authorities assist with finding solutions to the crisis that has resulted in the death of wildlife and loss of livelihoods.
When we had a meeting with the Vice President yesterday, it was emphasized that ZimParks is saying it needs a whole of government approach. And indeed, they are actually taking everyone on board to make sure that we preserve the tributaries that actually pour water into Chivero, because we are having pollution from the two local authorities, Chitungiza and Harare, as well as the industrial sites. And this is an issue that the government is actually working hard to address.
Echoing his sentiments, the newly appointed Director General, Dr. Adson Gandiwa, highlighted the importance of technological innovations in addressing some of the pressing conservation challenges.
We will continue to enhance our capabilities through new technology adoption and technology that covers various areas. These include wildlife forensics, surveillance, law enforcement, pollution control, invasive species management, and also our censusing and monitoring of wildlife aspects.
Meanwhile, stakeholders who graced the event commended the outgoing Director General for transforming the strategic parastatal mandated to sustainably manage the country's wildlife heritage.
His steadfastness in terms of strong belief that communities should be front and center to the solutions, but also to the benefits of conservation, dovetails with our vision and ambition as an institution. Something that we hope and we envisage to continue collaborating with the incoming DG for ZimParks, Prof. Gandiwa, but more importantly, expanding on the partnerships from a financial support perspective, but also from a technical support perspective.
Dr. Mangwanya is leaving ZimParks after his appointment as Director General in the President's Office. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
Well, I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge our viewers who are watching us from various platforms. We are live on YouTube and on Facebook, and maybe just mention a few. Dixon Majaha says, we wish students a success on their studies.
We also have Emmanuel Zot, who says, good evening, Zimbabwe. We really appreciate the viewership.
And Brian Mwakutuya is watching from Gaborone.
We also have Cornelius Togara Simon watching all the way from Domboshava.
And Mapesa Countryman, he says, good evening, Zimbabwe, and thank you, ZBC, for the news.
We appreciate your views as well as your comments.
We do appreciate, and Tafadzwa Kamuka Katuruza says, I was on the news. I'm sure he's one of the pupils that have started school today or that have opened school. We wish you all the best at this term.
Absolutely. Now jumping into our next report, the Pan-African Parliament is looking at enhancing operations to deal with peace and security on the continent alongside inclusive development.
The president of the Pan-African Parliament, PAP, Chief Fortune Charumbira, met with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Professor Amon Murira, where discussions centered on development, peace and security on the African continent, along with acclimatizing the new foreign minister on the operations of the PAP.
We also considered other issues of the continent, which are important, which are developmental, how we move this continent to the next stage. In terms of ensuring that our citizens, not only in Zimbabwe but across the continent, get the quality of life which they desire. One issue that we discussed with the minister is the resolution by Pan-African Parliament to send a delegation of Pan-African Parliament MPs representing the continent. It will be a small delegation, but representing all the 5 regions of this continent, to visit those countries that have imposed sanctions on Zimbabwe and impress upon them that these sanctions are retrogressive.
Professor Murwira said the PAP is a strategic partner in spearheading Zimbabwe's foreign policy and the country's position with regards to promoting Pan-Africanism.
Zimbabwe's posture towards Africa and the Pan-African Parliament is governed by our own constitution. Section 12, subsection 2 of our constitution makes it mandatory that we are Pan-African. Therefore, the visit and the updates that were being given by Senator Chief President Charumbira are very important for us to shape how we can contribute meaningfully to the progress of the Pan-African Parliament as a Pan-African institution.
Chief Charumbira assumed the presidency of the Pan-African Parliament in 2022 with a vision of promoting Pan-African values in the operations of the continental body through an inclusive parliamentary agenda for the continent. Olin Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
Law enforcement agents are determined to restore sanity on the country's roads amid chaos, which has turned urban areas into traffic jungles.
The capital city of Harare and other urban areas have been turned into traffic jungles, with the public transport operators taking the law into their own hands. This has in some instances led to loss of life, and the Zimbabwe Republic Police is seized with the matter after engaging public transport operators in Harare this Tuesday.
Asitane ndofunga 2 years 3 years ameno makore manga ndichitaura nenyaya yemaspace barons vana vari kuti mota ikaloda murengi kana uchida kuzodzoka uzolodazve ndisire $3. I think vemabhazi vanoti kukurira bhazi riri kusiya kana $60.
Vanonzi paitika tsaona bus operator is the biggest loser. Vamwe vanhu vese vanotaura dziri nyaya but isusu tarasikirwa neproperty vanhu vakuvara varida kubhadharwa. So at the end of the day we have joined you. Saka tiri kumbira assistance yenyu mutiwedzere pane zvamuri kutibatsira nazvo kuti tikwanise kuseva upenyu hwevanhu mumugwagwa.
Mushikashika unopedzwa nesu ma-operators. Yes, we have got police officers, vanoenforce some term, we have got city council, but isu as operators tikangozvipira tese vanhu vari mushikashika kuti tauda unosenzera murengi, you will see after one day you will see mustreet musisina motikari dzemushikashika.
We have worked so very hard with police hand to hand, and they've been helping us at least to eliminate mushikashika in the Harare CBD.
The ZRP reiterated its commitment to strict law enforcement.
For development to happen or for any business to take place, then there should be a certain mode of transport to allow movement of goods and services, as well as allowing people to move from one point to another.
The operation is multi-phased. It is there to enforce traffic laws and ensure that our trafficking public complies. It is there to educate members of the public and transporters on how the law expects them to operate. And so far, I can safely say a milestone has been achieved. This operation is there to stay.
The engagement was attended by all public transport operators in Harare who agreed on the need to restore sanity on the country's roads. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
You are watching the main news. Remember to visit our website for these and more stories in detail. It is www.zbcnews.co.zw.
Or you can get in touch with us on our social media handles, that is at ZBC News Online.
Still to come in this bulletin. In business news, Zimbabwe eyes cooking oil self-sufficiency.
And in sport, Yada Football Club owner Walter Magaya and Temba Mliswa approached the courts over their disqualification from the ZIFA presidency. The main news takes a breather. We'll be back with you shortly.
The Zimbabwe Tourism Authority is calling all operators of tourist facilities who have not registered or those with expired licenses and certificates to come forward and register their facilities in compliance with the provisions of Section 36 of the Tourism Act, Chapter 14, 20 of 1996 by 15 February 2025. According to Statutory Instrument Number 106 of 1996, categories of the tourist facilities that must be registered with the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority include but are not limited to conference organizers, restaurants, whether in hotel or otherwise, fast food restaurants, vehicle, bicycle, boat, bus hire, courier shops, tour operators, hunting operators, tour guides, non-hotel conference facilities and venues, travel agents including those online, accommodation including hotels, lodges, guest houses, camps and campsites, bed and breakfast accommodation, Airbnb accommodation, visitor attractions including game parks, farms, art galleries, visitor activities including golf, horse riding, bungee jumping, wedding venues, picnic or braai sports, open air function venues. All facilities that register or renew their licenses and certificates on or before the 15th of February 2025 will have no penalties charged. From the 1st of March 2025, the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, in conjunction with law enforcement agents, will be deployed to bring all unregistered facilities to book. For further information and assistance, please do not hesitate to contact us at the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority offices that are located across the country. Travel and experience Zimbabwe. Zimbo.
Everybody needs a little time away. I heard her say from each other.
Maranatha Junior School motto is building strong character, instilling entrepreneurial skills.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You're still watching the main news. The Harare City Council Commission of Inquiry resumed this Tuesday after the festive season break. In an interview with ZBC News this Tuesday, the Commissioner's evidence leader, Advocate Tabani Mpofu, revealed that the Justice Matthews Cheda-led commission will meet the February deadline before submitting its findings to President Emerson Mnangagwa.
We had evidence from the acting head of human capital within the City Council. He is still in the process of giving his evidence. The proceedings are adjourned to tomorrow morning, where we will resume with his evidence. We expect to call maybe 4 or 5 more witnesses, but that all depends on the evidence that is given within the commission. We anticipate that we will meet the deadline of the extension that was granted, so that by the end of January, we should have completed the part of hearing evidence from members of the public. Of course, it is not only oral viva voce evidence that is part of this commission. The commission also receives affidavits from concerned members of the public, most of them unsolicited, who feel that they have information to provide to the commission.
We now connect you to our Montrose studios where Marilyn Gwena is on standby. Marilyn, it's a good evening to you and it's over to you.
Good evening and many thanks to you, Zain and Joyce. And now in our following report, with government having upscaled its efforts to combat smuggling and tax evasion, the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority has called on the business community to comply with import and trade regulations to ensure smooth operations.
Business operators in Gwanda engaged the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority ZIMRA on a crackdown on traders dealing in contraband in an effort to curb rampant smuggling and tax evasion. Addressing the business operators during a breakfast meeting in Gwanda this weekend, ZIMRA Bulaya Customs Officer Mrs. Makosazana Kuture called on business operators to acquire import licenses and comply with custom procedures to avoid forfeiture of goods.
Please make sure you come to Zimbabwe and we'll tell you.
Speaking on the sidelines of the business breakfast meeting held at Mount Kazalet Lodge, Gwanda Business Association Chairperson Mr. Thomas Kwatida said the meeting between the business community, ZIMRA officials and Minister of Industry helped in allaying the fears held by the business operators.
Now the business community knows how TAMS is working, how FDMS is working, how QR code and HS codes are working, and the major issue was on shop raids, but ZIMRA explained well about how to business community should do if they want to import goods into our country.
The Zimbabwe Revenue Authority ZIMRA started a crackdown on entertainment spots, liquor vendors, retail outlets and cross-border transporters who deal with contraband last month. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Gwanda.
Zimbabwe's tourism sector experienced a surge in tourist arrivals at Victoria Falls, Zambezi National Park and Hwange National Park during the 2024 festive season.
Statistics from the Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Management Authority reveal a significant increase in tourist numbers during the recent festive season, with over 30,000 visitors exploring Hwange and Victoria Falls Zambezi National Parks. A notable highlight is the surge in international visitors to the Victoria Falls rainforest, reaching 5,000 compared to 4,000 in 2023. Domestic tourism to the rainforest, however, saw a slight decrease from 7,000 to 6,000.
We are happy about the number of people that visited our tourist destinations, especially the campaign that has been led by various stakeholders, including the Ministry of Tourism, to ensure that we visit the tourist destinations that we have. We recorded a 27% increase in terms of tourist arrivals in the Victoria Falls, Zambezi National Park and Hwange National Park. To an extent that we have recorded more than 30,000 tourists between the two prime destinations, Yowange and Victoria Falls.
According to the Department of Immigration, over 1 million travelers passed through the country's borders in December, representing a remarkable 22% increase compared to the same period in 2023. Zimbabwe's tourism sector continues on its path to recovery, buoyed by improved marketing efforts, increased investment in infrastructure, and a growing sense of confidence among international and local travelers. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
In news from beyond our borders, gas prices have more than doubled in Slovakia after an agreement to transport gas from Russia through Ukraine expired.
The halt of Russian natural gas transit through Ukraine on the 1st of this month has seen gas prices surging, with the cost of living and production soaring in Europe. Manufacturers of malt products in Slovakia have lamented the recent increase, saying it has left Europe at a disadvantage by undermining its competitiveness on the global market. Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico says Ukraine's unilateral decision to stop the transit of any Russian gas could result in losses of nearly 1.5 billion United States dollars for Slovakia. Demand. Turkish Stream pipeline under the Black Sea has become the sole remaining route for transporting Russian gas to Europe.
The United States California Fire Department is battling to contain wildfires that have engulfed the area. According to the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, the total area affected by the fires has exceeded 164 square kilometers and more than 12,000 structures have been destroyed. Meanwhile, the United States National Weather Service, NWS, has predicted high likelihood of wildfires in the hilly and mountainous regions surrounding Los Angeles, as the wind speed is expected to reach between 70 and 110 kilometers per hour. The Los Angeles area is currently under a wildfire red alert, which will remain in effect until Wednesday.
And that's it for myself, Marilyn Gwenya, and the Montrose crew for tonight. It's back to the team at Pocket Hill Studios in Harare for more news. And of course, Zain is on standby. Zain, it's back to you.
Thank you, Marilyn, for the update. We bring it back to the capital, where government has reiterated its commitment to fostering an environment that stimulates investment in the country, with the latest being the establishment of a chili processing plant in Mashonaland West Province.
The chili processing plant, which is currently under construction in Zimba South, is set to provide a lasting solution concerning marketing challenges being faced by local producers.
Teta kugona kwana mabasa, teta kugona kuitawo zvinhu zvinokuti tikwanise kubhadhara vana kana ma school fees.
This is going to help us a lot for development yedu, because we find out kuti kana mari tanayo nzvimbo dzedu dzatigere dzichakwaniswa kuva developed.
Yaita kuti nzvimbo yedu vana vawane mabasa, tivhurike pane zvinhu zvakawanda zvanga zvichiitika kutown. Now the industry has come back. Have come to the community.
The development is being spearheaded by a local company, Stagri Brands, in partnership with a Thailand-based production entity, Dismate Foods International.
Tirikuti isusu miripiri hatisi kumirira kuti iome, tirikuita value addition pano paNyahondo farm Mazvimba. Inenge yaoma tinozoiexporta, asi fresh tinoiprocessa pano. I can attest that we have already received our processing line, which has already been shipped. Yatua Pano on site, including our backup power plant.
Of course, we're starting up now in Zimbabwe, which will be the second in Africa. And why Zimbabwe? I think the farming system, which is already established here, like the plug-and-play system, is very convenient and easy to work for us.
The Minister of State for Mashonaland West Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Marian Chombo, reiterated government's support towards local investment that fosters community development.
Outgrown skills are vital for agricultural advancement. They empower smallholder farmers by providing access to markets, the cutting-edge technology, and necessary financing while ensuring a steady supply of high-quality quality produce for processors and also exporters.
Meanwhile, government is promoting rural industrialization aimed at addressing exploitation of raw products in favor of value addition initiatives. Tamuka Charakupa, ZBC News, Zimba.
The main news will take a break now. Join us for business news when we return.
Moshe, have you heard about Marechera? Hanziko. But he says keeper. They say he has this glow about him now. He doesn't walk. Hey. He glides. Yo. And he's so calm that he doesn't perspire.
I heard that he owns a bank. Let's go. The most secured bank in the whole world.
And his dollars, he irons his money.
He has got people who irons his money for him.
But have you heard that when he coughs, money just comes out of the blue? Out of the orange.
Let's go.
Hey, yo. Marechera.
Says Keeper, Rakuendeka, introducing the new Mukuru wallet. Send, store, spend. There's Mukuru for that.
Step up with DSTV and we'll show up by giving you more incredible entertainment.
Going to have a little fun.
Upgrade your subscription between the 13th of January and the 31st of March and get an even higher package for a whole month on us.
To the back of the net!
There's nothing better than putting a little bit in but getting a lot out.
This is the time to take risks.
Incredible!
I've heard good things about you. Don't let me down.
Step up and we'll show up on your home of entertainment, DSTV.
Welcome back. You're still watching the main news. Zimbabwe is targeting cooking oil self-sufficiency driven by government interventions in increasing soybeans, sunflower and cooking seed production. More from our business editor, Stanley James.
A tour by government officials at two of Zimbabwe's largest cooking oil manufacturing firms this Tuesday provided an opportunity for them to assess the state of the sector. It emerged that Zimbabwe is moving towards cooking oil self-sufficiency, riding on increased investments aided by the increase in soybean, sunflower and cotton seed production. Data released during the tour reveals availability of locally produced cooking oil has increased from 20% in 2018 to over 80% last year.
The future is obviously from government reserves, the government efforts so far. They are pushing so hard farmers to produce soybeans. You've seen the growth from 30,000 metric tons in the last 2 years. The last season we also defied the drought. We had somewhere in the region of 50,000 tons. The aim is really to get to, over 100,000 tons, which we used to.
While concern has been raised over the high costs of importing crude oil for production, government believes the increased soybean, sunflower and cotton seed production is key to solving the challenge.
The production of sunflower, production of cotton and production of soybean are key to ensure that our country is safe in terms of their entire soybean value chain, entire cooking oil value chain, and the entire sunflower value chain.
Players in the cooking oil production sector also resolved to continue working with the government on policies to ease the cost of doing business. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
From business, we switch to the arts, where a 24-year-old lady with a hearing impairment is proving herself as a dance and choreography artist after featuring in Derek Mpofu's song Dear X. Let's take a look.
While hearing is an integral part of dance and choreography, as artists embrace the lyrics, sound, rhythm, and beauty of music, the story of 24-year-old dancer with a hearing impairment, Dion Manjoro, is an inspiration to many in a quest to become the country's finest dancer. She might not hear the song, but the bass tones and the loud music vibrations to her heart are enough for her to keep pace with other dancers, and this has been a life from the age of 10 when she discovered her talent.
Kana ndiri panyaya kutamba ndinonzwa nebooster and then otanga kugadzira mamoves ake ari kuenderana nesong. Ndadzidziswa ndiri mudiki kusvika ndakura kutamba muchongoyo ballet, asi izvezvi akutamba zvese. Panonzi tikuenda kumacompetition emuchongoyo ndinoenda.
While some industry players are still skeptical about working with Dion, she continues to prove herself after featuring in Derek Mpofu's song Dear X. Looking at her life, the family has nothing but praise. Amid optimism, the sky is the limit for Dion and other committed people with disabilities.
At a very tender age, she could dance, she could actually imitate someone. She used to copy all the dances. That's where she began to learn how to dance, and she could listen to vibrations and actually follow the vibrations. Challenges are not handicaps. You can achieve the very best, whatever form you are, whatever way you are. God created us the way we are.
True to the adage, disability is not inability, Dion has come to terms with her limitations and implied creative solutions to navigate through her challenges to become one of the country's best dancers. Patience Nyagato, CBC News, Harare.
And that's our look at the arts. Taking us to a break. When we return, we join Anna Shemrombezi in the Sports Corner.
The Big Brother Mzansi house is giving spice. It's giving umlilo. So find some shade, because the housemates have entered the chat and they will tell what they must for the 2 meter. It's all about keeping it cool, even when they are seeing flames. Asbanye.
Big Brother Mzansi Season 5 starts Sunday, 12th January at 6 p.m. only on the home of local.
Big Brother Mzansi, proudly sponsored by Lotto Star.
In every heart beats the dream of greatness. Football is more than a game. It is hope. It is unity. It is the future. Every journey starts with a single kick. As a dedicated and passionate individual, I, Nqobile Magwizi, am ready to lead Zimbabwean football into a new era. My transformative agenda is built on uniting stakeholders, restoring integrity, and fostering grassroots talent. I firmly believe every player deserves a chance to shine. From our humble beginnings to dreaming on the global stage, we know that talent must be nurtured and dreams deserve to flourish. That's why I'm asking for your vote to become the president of the Zimbabwe Football Association. It's time to focus on the ball. Together, we can restore pride, nurture talent, and create a lasting legacy for future generations. Vote for me, Nqobile Magwizi, and let's transform Zimbabwean football together.
Time for sports, and welcome to the Sports Corner. Anna Shemrombezi here with the latest in the world of sport. Now, Yada Football Club owner Walter Magaya's urgent chamber application challenging his disqualification from the Zimbabwe Football Association ZIFA presidential election will be heard at the High Court in Harare this Friday.
Magaya filed an urgent application at the High Court seeking the court to overturn the decision to disqualify him from contesting the ZIFA presidential elections. The concerned parties met this Tuesday for case management in Justice Tawanda Chitapi's chambers, where they agreed for the matter to be heard on Friday. Besides the High Court case, Magaya has also lodged an appeal with the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, in Lausanne, Switzerland. Meanwhile, the High Court has rolled over to Thursday an urgent appeal filed by another aspiring ZIFA presidential election candidate, Themba Mliso, who was also disqualified. The urgent matter was heard at Justice Ngonduna's chambers in Bulawayo. Mliso's case, which was initially deferred to Tuesday afternoon, was rolled over to Thursday after the respondent's legal counsel cited a short time frame in receiving the papers. Other aspiring candidates who have been disqualified include former Manchester City and Warriors forward Benjamin Marwar, as well as former ZIFA Vice President Gift Banda. They have also appealed to CAS. The ZIFA presidential race has since been narrowed down to 6. Businessman Mobile Magwezi, former Capes United owner Twine Piri, United Kingdom-based football administrator Masha Ogore, former ZIFA board member Philemon Machan, Northern Region Football League chairperson Martin Kweza, and former Dynamos forward Makwenji Piri. Mtokozi Stube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Former ZIFA Vice President Omega Sivanda believes he has unfinished business as he seeks a re-election onto the ZIFA Executive Committee on the 25th of this month.
Sibanda started off with CMED Gweru before moving to Highlanders and later on formed FC Windermere, whose franchise was later sold to Bulawayo Chiefs. The former player agent has been on the ZIFA Executive Committee before as Vice President Tukadwe Due before the board was recalled 18 months later. He was re-elected during the Philip Chiangwa era and served for 2 years before their tenure expired. Despite serving under 2 presidents, Sibanda, who has never completed a 4-year term, believes he has unfinished business.
What I want to see at ZIFA is a progressive brand. The brand ZIFA is no longer attractive to any sponsor. We need to sanitize that brand. We've got structures at ZIFA. We've got people within those structures at ZIFA. What we want to see happening at ZIFA is to make sure that the structures operate financially. There's no structure which can operate without money. Money should be raised. Should be raised to sponsor or assist all the structures from area zones right up to the PSL men, PSL women, junior development, grassroots. If they don't have money, then continue having volunteers in football who are going nowhere.
The legislator is also advocating for a clear pathway for former players.
Insurance for players and pension for players. I would urge the system through my board and the Congress that we take a certain percentage from players' salaries to cater for the insurance of players.
Sibanda is up against a former Highlanders chairman Peter Due, a former PSO chief executive officer Kenny Ndebele, a former ZIFA board member Francis Nyamsamba Senior, as well as former footballers Makwinje Piri and James Takawada. Lawrence Tusira, ZBC News, Harare.
The 2025 Women Premier Soccer League season is set to kick off on the 5th of April after the league released the calendar of events.
With pre-season training already underway, the Women Premier Soccer League transfer window is also opened and the clubs can trade players until the 31st of March. This year's fixtures are set to be released on the 22nd of February, a month before the season kicks off. The league is set to capacitate administrators and induct new teams on the 15th of next month, a week before inspecting match venues. A final ground inspection will take place on the 8th of March, with a technical teams workshop scheduled for the 15th to prepare for the start of the season. The first half of the season will run from the 5th of April to the 14th of June, with the defending champions Yarintos Queens gunning for a 4th consecutive title. The new season will see 4 new teams joining the league after the relegation of Mutare City Queens, MSU Queens, Zetara Harare Queens and Hope Academy. The promoted teams are Red Buffaloes from the Eastern Region, Central Region champions Kwekwe Queens, Cranbourne Royals from the Northern Region and Southern Region champions Mpopoma Sports Academy.
That's it from the Sports Corner. Guys, it's back to you.
Many thanks, Anashe. Sport capping our bulletin for this evening. But before we leave, we give you some of the stories that made the headlines. Government satisfied with smooth commencement of the 2025 academic calendar as schools opened this Tuesday. Treasury maintains an economic growth forecast of 6% this year. business, Zimbabwe eyes cooking oil self-sufficiency.
And in our leading story, Yada football club owner Walter Magaya and Themba Mliswa approached the courts over their disqualification from the ZIFA presidency.
Now do remember, you can get the stories on our social media handles. That is at ZBC News Online.
Of course, we are on Facebook, YouTube, but we are also on X. And remember to tell others that we are always live on YouTube and Facebook. We are ZBC News Online. We also have a website, www.zbcnews.co.zw.
Absolutely. And as we cap off this bulletin, just a quick reminder on the resolutions, Joyce.
The resolutions.
Where are we at with resolutions?
You know what? I hardly make any resolutions. So I just take things as they come. I do have short-term goals. Okay. And as soon as I'm done with that, I go to the next one. And that's how I do things. I don't know about you, Zane.
Well, I think at the end of the day, happiness is what's important.
Happiness is important. Make sure you put forward happiness above all things. I don't know about Susan Masona. I'm sure she's definitely telling some people how she does it in terms of planning for her New Year's resolutions. And I guess that's it.
Absolutely.
For this evening on the main news. From all of us here, it's good night.